To Cameroon now, where more details have emerged of the deadly suicide blast. The death toll now stands at 12 after a victim died of his wounds in hospital. A suicide bomber went inside a mosque in the town of Kolofata, and while worshippers were praying, he blew himself up. 11 people were killed at the scene, including the bomber. Nigerian militant group Boko Haram is the main suspect in this attack, although it's yet to claim responsibility. It's believed the militants crossed into Cameroon from Nigeria a few days prior to the attack. Cameroon, Chad, Niger and Nigeria have all come under attack from the group. The countries formed a joint military task force in response. Let's get to more on that story now. I'm joined live from Abuja by CCTV's Sophia Dengo. Sophia, just a few more details, if you can, on this attack. We know that Boko Haram is the main suspect. Has there been any claim of responsibility yet?
Well, Indy, an all too familiar site in Kolofata. It's a small border town between Cameroon and Nigeria. And local police reports indicate that a suicide bomber went into a mosque and, of course, detonated a bomb, killing over 10 people at this point and leaving dozens wounded, who are now being transported to a local, hospital area there. Kolofata, like many border towns on Nigeria and Cameroon, suffers from a communications blackout. So as the story develops, what we do know so far is that this is a typical attack of suspected Boko Haram terrorists, although no responsibility has been outrightly claimed by their leadership or any of their members at this time. But it seems quite typical. Kolofata has been hit several times in 2015, several attacks systematically, in that specific town, very close to the Nigerian-Cameroon border, in which Boko Haram has seen considerable amount of violence and damage done in the area.
Now, Sophia, we know, of course, that a number of countries have committed resources to the joint military task force, and yet Boko Haram remains the biggest threat to security in the region. What is the latest on the fight against the militant group?
Well, if you look at it from a Boko Haram standpoint, they seem to feel like they are outsmarting the Nigerian military and the Nigerian government, also rebranding themselves as ISIS of West Africa in late of 2015. However, Nigeria's president, Muhammadu Buhari, has consistently asserted that Boko Haram's activities have really been reduced in the last year, especially what he terms as military-style attacks from the Islamic extremist group. However, of course, with attacks like the one today, it seems like Boko Haram seems to be slipping through their fingers and going directly into soft target areas where they can hit the most impact, where people are gathered. When it comes to the joint multinational task force, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and all the countries that share these borders in the Lake Chad Basin have consistently committed to reducing the numbers of Boko Haram. But as you know, this is territory that is very difficult to man, with extremely, harsh terrain in which just the troop numbers can't seem to, to track down. Many have said that the largest footprint is here in Nigeria in the Sambisa forest. But as we know, time and time again, 60,000 square kilometers is just simply too much for Nigerian to tackle alone. Lindy?
Well, on that point, of course, as you mentioned, President Buhari claiming a number of successes against Boko Haram over the past year. What has that meant then for neighboring countries? I mean, can we see perhaps an increased presence of Boko Haram within countries like Cameroon, Chad and Niger?
Well, of course, with these increased, efforts by the Nigerian government in stepping up their troop numbers and also consolidating with their neighbors, there seems to be a considerable amount of work being done in reducing the acts of violence by Boko Haram and, looking for these members wherever they are in their small cells. If I can just reiterate what President Muhammadu Buhari has been saying all along is that, the consistent attacks have indeed reduced, but he has his critics. You're familiar with Bring Back Our Girls, a hashtag Bring Back Our Girls that, gained popularity online and has really put pressure on the government to refrain from this sort of rhetoric and, commit to the fact that, of course, the 200 girls that were kidnapped from Chibok still have not been returned, and they are systematic attacks on people who are going about their regular day, especially in the northeastern part of the country. And that is bound to extend to other parts of the neighboring countries if more effort isn't put forward, despite the fact that the United States and many other countries have, said that they would ally with Nigeria. There still seems to be a gap that needs to be filled in terms of monies, in terms of troop numbers, although Nigeria has seen its fair share of alliances with these, neighboring countries. It's Cameroon that has seen the great push by the United States in providing 300 troops and some kind of technical assistance in really trying to zero down on Boko Haram and completely eradicate their activities in this border area. Lindy.
Thank you very much for that update. Sophia Dengo live for us there in Abuja, Nigeria.